In December 1952, a silent killer descended upon London. It began with a simple, serene morning mist creeping over the cold waters of the Thames, but within hours, the mist transformed. A stagnant layer of sickly yellow-grey smog swallowed the city, turning a familiar landscape into a claustrophobic world. Visibility vanished. Street lamps struggled to pierce through a wall of fog so thick it felt like a physical weight against the chest of every Londoner. This was the Great Smog. A headline soon echoed the horror of the situation. An island city be seemingly killed by a mysterious, suffocating fog. To understand the tragedy, we must look at the city of soot. Post-war London was a place fueled by coal, where chimneys never stopped smoking. Families across the capital were shoveling nutty slack coal into their fireplaces to stay warm, unaware they were fueling a disaster. Pollution was simply a part of life. Children played in streets slightly hazy with smoke, thinking the soot-filled air was perfectly normal. Among them were men like our Londoner, who found themselves coughing more than usual as the air turned increasingly bitter and metallic. The science behind it was a temperature inversion. Usually, smoke rises into the atmosphere, but a layer of warm air suddenly trapped it below. With no wind to blow it away, sulfur dioxide from coal fires reacted with the moisture in the air to create droplets of sulfuric acid. The atmosphere visibly darkened. By the second day, the sun was no more than a dim, ghostly disk struggling against a sky that looked bruised. It was darkness at noon. In the heart of the city, a double-decker bus sat stalled, its massive engine silenced by the impenetrable fog. The driver had to stand in front of the vehicle, holding a flaming torch just to guide the bus slowly through the pitch-black streets. Pedestrians were equally lost. People walked along the sidewalks with their hands trailing along brick walls, desperate to find their way home. There was nowhere to hide. The smoke seeped through the cracks of wooden doors and windows, filling homes with a stinging, acrid scent. The city was choked. Hospital wards began to overflow with thousands of patients, all gasping for breath as their lungs failed. Doctors and nurses looked on, overwhelmed. They had never seen an environmental catastrophe on this scale, and they had no cure for the air. Outside, the world had become a void. Street lamps appeared as faint, terrifying orange orbs suspended in an absolute, terrifying darkness. Then came the toll. Initially, reports suggested 4,000 had died, but the true number was far more devastating. 12,000 souls were lost to the fog. Yet, at the time, newspapers downplayed the event, calling it a mere natural weather occurrence. But the people knew better. Anger began to simmer. Protesters took to the streets, holding signs that demanded the right to breathe clean air. This tragedy became the turning point. In 1956, the Clean Air Act was signed into law, forcing the city to move away from coal. Slowly, the skies over London began to clear. The sun returned, and the lethal yellow fog became a dark chapter in the history books. But history has a way of repeating itself. Today, modern cities like New Delhi and Beijing are shrouded in a hauntingly familiar thick smog. Scientists watch the data with deep concern, seeing the same patterns of industrial neglect and environmental cost. She knows that while the fuel has changed, the threat remains. We must learn from London's past to protect our global future. London stands clear today, a testament to what policy and awareness can achieve. But let it also serve as a permanent warning. What killed London in 1952 can kill again if we look away. The air we breathe is a fragile gift. Remember the silent tragedy of the Great Smog. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and fight for a cleaner world.